Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Debbie Foreman. I'm the host of GAPCast and GAPTrax, where we do on GAPCast reactions to noteworthy people that talk about the world of gaps. And often I do a second segment on the hints and tricks, GAPTrax, where we talk about the frameworks that are associated. I was sent this link and I was told the following, because I'm going in blind on this, okay? It's a reaction. That number one, what we're going to be seeing is audio with text. Okay, I'm curious to see how that plays out, but it's touching on a very important topic, which is the gap between knowing and doing. So it's a area that I work on a lot, that we have a lot of framework for, and that it's like on a top priority list right now. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. And so I don't think we're going to be going, the timestamp I have is way in the beginning, so maybe it's going to go 3, 4, 5 minutes into it. I'm going to comment through, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit. I opened our ebook so we can kind of walk through that and see where that stands within the ebook. All right, so here we go. Without further ado, this is by Jim Rohn, and we know that he is noteworthy, popular, and knows what he's talking about. So let's see where it goes.
You see it everywhere. People who know better but don't do better. People with brilliant ideas, big dreams, thoughtful plans, but very little follow through.
I'm going to break this down step by step. Big dreams and follow-up. The difference between knowing and doing. But knowing is when you have a dream, it's not necessarily that you know what to do. You have a vision in ideation. And the vision through ideation brings you to a final route, but you don't know the steps to get there. And that's where the immediate gap lies. So when we talk and work with innovators in innovation, I always bring up the question is, you've got the thought, what's the process? So what's the purpose? Who are the people associated to it? What path are you going to take, and what processes are associated? This is right here. He's talking about the gap between knowing and doing.
And you start to wonder, how can that be? How can someone spend years learning, thinking, preparing, and still never move? Still never follow through? Still never do what they already know to do?
I don't agree. Right there, I don't. Not make it through, yes, that happens all the time, but not know, they know what to do. Often, we don't know what to do, especially in a dynamic, changing world. We knew what to do when we learned what to do, what we know how to do, but we don't know what to do in today's world because things are done differently. And that is the world of upskilling and keeping up with the demands of today. And that is one of the biggest gaps that we have between knowing and doing, is upskilling and being prepared for the skills required in today's world. I'm going to get further into that in a moment.
Well, I'll tell you what I've discovered. There's a gap, a quiet little gap between knowing and doing.
And I'm going to say, I do not agree again. There is a gap, that part I agree on, but it's not quiet. It is silent. It's a silent killer. It's a silent killer, and it echoes through your mind. It echoes through the people that are watching us. It echoes loudly because we see people with ideas, dreams, actions, careers, and not knowing what skills are required to get there. And that gap just grows and grows, and it's never silent. It shouts out, you're not ready, you're not prepared, get ready, get prepared.
And that gap is where most dreams die. It doesn't.
And I'm going to go further than that. Yes, that's where a lot of dreams die, but so do careers, so do families, so do communities. Actions that aren't prepared to close those gaps, they die. If that purpose, the path, the process, and the people are not clear.
It doesn't happen with a loud crash. It's not some big failure, some dramatic mistake. No, most dreams die silently. They fade away in the...
Once again, it's very hard for things to die silently. Because when somebody starts something and everybody around them is watching them and it doesn't reach fulfillment, there's no silence in that. There's people talking in the background. There's you with the good cop, bad cop talking to yourself in the head. I know how to do it. I can't do it. I see the vision. I don't know the steps. I'm trying everything. I'm getting nowhere. There's nothing silent. It screams loud. It screams loud in your head. It screams loud to the people around you.
Space between I should and I did.
Okay. Between I should and I did, and this is something that we work on in GAPTrax, is I know that I know that I don't know that I know, and I don't know that I don't know. And then we flip that to the other side, and what do we talk about? We talk about, what am I doing that I should be doing? What am I doing that I shouldn't be doing? What am I not doing that I should be doing? And what am I not doing that I should be doing?
They disappear in the pause between intention and action. And if you're not careful, that space becomes...
Intention is what you want to do. Action is knowing what you should do. And once again, if you don't have the updated skills, you're not reskilled and you're not prepared for it. That gap. And what he's saying is that space
becomes your whole life.
That's what he says.
A life full of good intentions and missed opportunities.
I'm not going to say they're missed opportunities. The intention is there. There are opportunities that you're not ready for, skilled for, and you can be. As simple as, let's take a look at this. Let me show you exactly what he's talking about. And this isn't something that has to go on. So I'm asking you, like, if you're curious about this, let me start at the top. Let's just start this. This is the ebook. I'm not going to read you the ebook. But closing the systemic gaps. He's talking about gap between knowing and doing. And what we do here is human development and closing these systemic gaps for everlasting transformation. Okay, it's easy, it's doable. You can go on. For all of you here on this channel, we got a special offer for you. But I'm not going to get into the sales part. And what happens when you close those gaps? That intention can become a legacy. That intention of between knowing and doing can build your legacy. And a legacy is what you leave beyond yourself. So let's take this really slowly. What is he talking about? He talked about intention, what you intend, what you achieve. That's exactly where we are right now. But a lot of people don't see gaps in the whole system. They don't see the holistic vision of it. So let me kind of walk you through that. Gaps are the distance between what you perceive and what you know. There's the valley. There's that space. What you intend, that intention, and your achievement. Skills, what we've just been talking about, and the lack of them. Effort and results. And results can be not just objective, like objective KPI, but results are also subjective, the outcomes. And that's where legacy comes from. It's a global pandemic, endemic right now that we're going through. A global problem where education is not keeping up with the times. If you're watching this, we're recording this in the middle of the war with Iran. And one of the problems that causes gaps, when you look at a problem set, the cause behind it are bigger than life happenings. So when things happen like a war, pandemic, natural disaster, something like that, and right now we're looking at war, we're looking at oil prices. We're looking at economy shifting. We're looking at, a global shift right now. When this happens, you can have entire societies that had a life set out, and then it's been a random interruption, and that random interruption creates a huge space. And it doesn't matter how well-intended you are if you don't have the freedom or the landscape to be able to do what you do. And so we're watching that happen right now. Now, for most of you here in the free world, you are free. You have the freedom to be able to address these issues. But most people, they're prisoners in their mind. And that has a hidden cost. And that's what he was talking about, invisibility. But what he was talking about in this was silence. And silence and invisibility are not the same. That's invisibility is when you're unseen and unheard for the efforts that you're putting in, because you're stuck in stagnation and you don't appear to be qualified, because the competition's gobbling you up, and because those results are not where you want to be. All right. And so let me talk about, and what he's talking about is the between knowing and doing. But why does this matter? It matters in your professional life, especially if you've hit a plateau and you can't get to the other side. and in personal growth, because everything that you keep trying to do in your personal life becomes mumbo jumbo, and you down talk yourself with that bad cop, good cop, or good cop, bad cop inside your mind. Clear those out. And this is what we do in GAPTrax. 4 tracks, 6 episodes each, 12 to 15 minutes, framework, 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 framework. Real quick. Because what you're going to be feeling behind what he's talking about, between knowing and doing, knowing and achieving, that intentional gap, I have the intent and I'm not getting the results, causes fear, causes frustration, often the imposter syndrome, why are others able to do it and not me, and the invisibility. And remember that fear is a courage gap. If you're afraid, you don't have the courage to do it, you become a prisoner in your own mind in the free world where we are today. You become frustrated and you can't develop a strategy. And that invisibility means that it's hard for you to communicate. I'm not talking about talking like I'm blabbing right now. Blah, 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 blah. I'm talking. But communication, that's intentional. The framework for intentional communication with the skills that are required closes the gaps. And most of all, what's been talked about is the skills between knowing and doing. And here it goes. This is not Debbie Foreman talking. It's not GAPTrax talking. It's not our team talking. It's the World Economic Forum. And there is nothing more powerful right now in the world that monitors education, the work environment in different cultures, different societies, different economic landscapes, the evolution, and the rapid change. The World Economic Forum. And what do they say? They say that between 2025 and 2020, let me try that again. Between 2025 and 2030, there's a list of the top 10 skills required on the job market. All right. So what did we do here? And so here on, I'm suggesting download the ebook, play this game, take this quiz, evaluate yourself, assess yourself. Okay. And how do we do this? So come down over here. And I'm showing you right now, but it's good for you to, I like it when you print it out. You can do it digitally also. But when you print this out and you tack it in front of you, it's really simple. So what does the World Economic Forum say? It says these are the skills that are going to be required and are currently required in the job market. Now, depending on your age bracket and what kind of education you had, the question is, did you learn these skills at school? Do you need them at work? So what we're seeing in this video between knowing and doing, knowing and achieving, knowing and getting the result is the first question. If you don't have the skill, it doesn't matter how big the intent is. So let's take a look at it. Analytical thinking and innovation. Did you learn that at school? Yes or no? If you have a no here in this column, you have to have yeses in most of these because these are required now. Your job might not require all of them, but if there's a no here and a yes here, or a yes here and a no there, there's a gap. Okay, real simple. Do you need it? Did you learn it? Did you need it? Analytical thinking and innovation. Did you learn it at school? No. Do you need it? Yes. Active learning and learning strategies. Maybe you learned it at school, but you definitely need it at work. Complex problem solving. Depends how high your education went. You may or may not have learned that, but you need it at work. Critical thinking and analysis. Hard to prove that you have that skill until you're given a project or a task to accomplish that demonstrates that, but it is needed. You may think you have it, but not with the formats that are required for today. Creativity, originality, and initiative. Can you learn to be creative? Yes, you can. Does it come easy to all people? No, it doesn't. Originality, thinking out of the box, the uniqueness. And originality is a very, very, very difficult subject where it causes big gaps, because originality means that you have the courage, and we were talking about courage before, you don't have the fear, and you have the courage to show your uniqueness, to showcase your uniqueness, and to be known for that uniqueness. And often there's taboos, societal taboos, where you just want to fit into the status quo. And if you can't show that uniqueness and take that initiative, you're not going to stand out. It's required, but you may have actually learned, and a lot of people do in societal and cultural things, that taboo is be quiet. Don't show that uniqueness. Just go along, go with the flow. Leadership and social influence. That does not mean to be a social media influencer. It means that you're able to persuade and you have the skills and techniques for persuasion. Okay? And you're able to lead yourself and lead teams on that. Did you learn that at school? Yes or no? You do need it now. Technology use, monitoring, and control. Did you learn all that at school? Are you up to date? You need it at work. Technology design and programming. Not all careers need that, but I'm going to say if you don't need it in your job function, you do need to know the importance of it. Resilience. This is my favorite one. Resilience. Stress tolerance and flexibility. In a society that is continuing, we have a continuing rate and increase in treating anxiety through medication or mindfulness, yoga, walks on the beach. Stress tolerance, resilience. How do you take that stress tolerance? How do you become resilient? And how do you become flexible? Did you learn these skills? But you definitely need them. And what I'm going to say is the following. Pay attention on this one. Most people are hired for a hard skill list, whether it's education, work that's been accomplished, for those hard skills, academic knowledge, accumulated content knowledge, and the firing and layoff process, it goes to those that are not able to show that they have this skill set. Oh, he knows everything and he's brilliant, or she knows everything and she's brilliant and does the work, but nobody likes to be around them, can't deal with stress, takes days off because is always freaking out. Gone. This is an acquired skill. Reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. Top on the list right now. This is top on the list. So what am I suggesting to you? Take this, download it, understand the difference between knowing and doing. And if you want, here you go. Join us on GAPTrax, download the ebook. This was a quick one. The content was quick. It was a strong message because it pinpoints a global problem. A global problem. Gut-wrenching? Mind-boggling? The feeling like I've tried everything and there's nothing to try. Framework for it. Solution for it. Get yourself out of the rut. If you have big ideas, if you have big dreams, if you want to go from where you are to where you want to be, if you want to achieve what you set out to do, and if you want to achieve what you set out to do, then create an impact for that. And if you've been able to create that impact, build a lasting legacy. My name is Debbie Foreman. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see you on GAPTrax. Comment, subscribe, like, share. And I just wanted to add one last thing. Don't forget, if you're in the free world, use that freedom. You've got it. Don't be a prisoner to yourself or to your mind.